Hello, everybody. We'll get started here in about 3 minutes. Hoo-wee. Happy Tuesday evening, everyone. Yeah, so like I said, we'll get started here in about three more minutes. Hi, Vanessa. Happy Tuesday. Yes, just got me some nice fresh coffee made. I'm all set and raring to go. Hi, Sandra. So tonight we are doing episode 3 of our Quilts in Italy series. The pattern is Lacey Log Cabin. Woohoo! That was a mouthful. And it is, the pattern in the book is on page 62. This is the quilt top that we're making. And in episode 1, I pieced 16 of the 64 blocks. Then episode 2, which was Sunday, I actually cut all of my pieces. And I have some staged here on my machine that I am going to chain piece tonight. There'll be another episode on Thursday evening as well. And I don't have the ones for Saturday and Sunday scheduled yet, but there'll be 2 more on Saturday and Sunday, which is when we should finish. Hopefully Sunday, this quilt top will be finished. It will be. But as you can see here, let me swap my camera over. Hi Mia. So here is where we are at. Let me get this in the picture here. Hold on. Move this camera over just for this. So that was block 1, 2, 3, 4. These are done. That means we have 12 more groups of blocks to make. So I have staged on my sewing machine blocks 5, 6, 7, and 8. And I'm going to see how close I can get tonight to having those 16 blocks completed. That would be half of the blocks. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm so excited, and it's really comforting. I really like getting all my pieces cut for a quilt top, simply because then you can just kind of like power through and do a lot of chain piecing and get a lot accomplished that way. So here on my machine, as you can see, I have staged all the pieces. Here's all my centers right here. There's 12 centers. Is that right? I need one more. I need 16 centers. There we go. There are those. And this is block group 8, 7, 6, and 5. In these each one of these stacks is enough for 4 blocks exactly alike. And this is what we're going to work on. I'm going to chain piece them I'm going to chain piece all 16 blocks. And by keeping them organized like this will be the first to go in. This is number 5, 6, 7, 8. All I'll have to do is peel off 1 layer for each step as I go through the process. That's the plan. We'll see how that works. My biggest thing, I just don't want to get these mixed up, because that would not be a good experience to have to do, for sure. Okay, so we're going to get started with our piecing. This is all about chain piecing. I have my seam guide here set on the 1/4 inch mark, and this is a 1/4 inch foot. And we're going to get started. So first off the bat is number 5. And there would be 4 of those pieces for block number 5. And we'll just get those going through. Next, right off the bat. Here we go. And chain piecing is just buttoning your different pieces right up to the one you just stitched and keep on going. It not only saves time, but you save thread that way as well. I am stitching on my Baby Lock Accomplished this evening. It's a fast machine, but I'm just going to go with whatever I'm comfortable with. You know, I'm not trying to rush it or anything like that. It's just, I think it's kind of interesting to see different machines, and my whole point of this, honestly, is that you can use a variety of machines to work on the same quilt top, and the key to that is just making sure you have a consistent seam, 1/4 inch seam. Okay. Next would be the same group of size pieces from block number 6. Let's put those on the very ends down there. And we're going to run 4 more through. Hi, Janelle. I really love this quilt too, but I have to tell you, everybody, there's a special warm place in my heart for log cabin quilts. I remember my earliest memory of sleeping under a quilt at what we lovingly referred to as the old home place on the banks of the Ohio River in western Kentucky, outside of Paducah, was a log cabin quilt my Meemaw had made. It was on the bed whenever I was there to sleep on. So it's a warm feeling for me whenever I see a log cabin quilt or sleep under one as an adult. It just brings back happy memories. And that's what quilts are supposed to do for you. They're supposed to bring back happy memories and actually a feeling of continuity in our lives, in our very busy lives. We're all so busy these days, and it's just a warm, safe feeling when you sleep under a beautiful quilt. Okay, that was block 6. Now we're going to do the same pieces from group 7, number 7 right there. And I remember my aunts and my Meemaw, they would actually take clothing that was no longer going to be worn and just rip it into 2-inch strips, because back then they hand pieced, and that's how they would recycle clothing to make quilts out of, especially the log cabins. Because back in those days, nothing was ever thrown away. Everything was recycled. And I think that's one reason, even today, I love going to a good thrift store, not only to look for clothing to wear, but also to look for clothing to cut up into quilt pieces. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Come on, fingers. There we go. They were wanting to stick together, everybody. And one reason I'm doing so many live videos right now, I will be on the road every week in October So I'm trying to make up for that this month. But I will still be doing live videos while I'm out on the road from my hotel room. I can't guarantee what they'll be, but I'll try to find something interesting to do that I can logistically do from my hotel rooms when I'm out there on the road. And this is from Group 8, Block Group 8. And I appreciate the comment about being organized. Yeah, when I went to college, I'll tell you, I should have bought stock in the Post-it note company, because I kept everything organized via multicolored Post-it notes during my studies. And that is carried over into my quilt making today. As you can obviously see, those little Post-it notes are a great way to label different groups of fabric pieces. Old habits are hard to break, right? Okay. And one more, and I will have, we are working on round 1 of our 16 blocks. Right here. That's the thread cutter right there. All right, now I need my little piece of thread cutting piecing gizmo right here. It's called the Gypsy Quilter. And I'm just going to stack them all, lay them in a last one I did on the bottom. And as long as I cut them like this, everybody, they will be in the perfect piecing order for me to pull off the top and then go left to right across my stacks of cut pieces. And they're almost done. See how fast that is? I tell you, if you're doing a lot of chain piecing, I don't consider this a luxury. I consider that a necessity. Okay. We'll set that to the side till we get the next round done. Now in these next set of strips, there's actually 8 in this. So this is like for rounds 2 and 3. Pieces 2 and 3 going around for each round of the block. So since this is round 1, the first 4, I'll peel off 4, and then that will be here for this next side right here. Okay. This table is not conducive to using the knee lifter, or I would definitely be using that. Yeah, if you're looking for just a machine to piece on, this Accomplish is really a great choice. It's a semi-industrial machine and will do 1,500 stitches per minute. Or if you like to make like bags and stuff, it's a very powerful machine for that as well. Extension table comes with it. I really like it. I wish I'd had this machine when I was making all those face masks a couple years ago. And just control the speed with your foot control on it. All it does is a straight stitch. That's the only stitch it does. But it does it exceedingly well. Okay. Now I need 4 from group 6. Do. And we're just keeping on. Here we go. This is a pretty little gray fabric right here. It's like a dove gray, but it has these gold metallic streaks through it. Hi, Murray. Hello. Hi, Mark. Hi, Janelle. Excuse me. It's been last couple of days, it's been rainy. And boy, it's a preview of fall because we've had highs like in the lower 50s for the last 2 days. It's been really nice. Nice cool weather. And so I like having, if you don't have your machines in a cabinet, I really consider an extension table for a machine a necessity instead of something optional, because it makes, gosh, I have a frog in my throat tonight. It really makes for a nice flat surface to move the fabric through. And I need 4 of these. So basically, each time you run these units through, you're taking 4 layers of fabric from each stack. And that does another part of that round. Bum, 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 bum. Hi, Sandra. Let me think. I think I'm at 13 in my machine collection, Sandra. I think that's where I'm at, because I'm counting my older machines as well in that number, not just the current model ones. The oldest baby lock machine that I still have is my Elagio embroidery sewing machine. And it actually doesn't even have a USB drive on it. It has a floppy disk drive built into the machine. And it still sews perfectly. It has over 30 million stitches on it. Well over that. But that is not the oldest machine I have. I mean, that number represents baby lock machines, okay? I also have some Singers, some antique Singers that I really like. And a lot of those are passed down machines and they hold sentimental value. So I would never part a featherweight and a Singer 99 and a Singer Futura from the 70s and so forth and so on. Oh, that's right, Mike. I forgot. I have a Baby Lock. All it does is a blind hem. It's a blind hemming machine. I forgot about that one. That put me up to 14. I always forget that one. It's a pretty cool machine. The only thing it does is a blind hem. Well, Mia, that's a wonderful question. I just try to keep them in rotation because it's not good for a machine to sit unused. So I am constantly rotating my machines. Like for this Lacey log cabin, each day I'm going to be using a different machine to piece on, and that way they all get a break. Next Thursday, I'm actually going to be using the Baby Lock Euphoria, which is a cover stitch machine, to piece on. And like I said earlier, you can use a bunch of different machines to piece the same quilt top. You just have to maintain an accurate seam allowance amongst all the machines. And that's really pretty easy to do. So there we go. There's the second set. Number 2 pieces are all sewn on for round number 1. And we're going to cut those. Press that cutting button. And then we're going to trim these all apart and keep on going. There we go. And I find it is helpful when you're stacking these to keep them all nice and neatly stacked in the exact same direction. And then when you go to pull a layer off to attach another piece to them, it's just more organized and it just seems to go a little bit faster during that sewing and piecing process. Oh, Sarah, we did. Mike, do we still have one? I know Mike is on here watching. Mike, do we still have one of those brother ULTs? I don't know. We did have a cup. We did have a 2003 and a 2001, I think, in our stockpile. I don't know if we still have those or not. But those are great machines. Yeah, that particular brother was the same as this, basically very close machine to that Baby Lock one that we have. Okay, now we're going to do pieces number 3 of round 1. Okay, here we go. There's where we're at so far. And each time we cut our blocks apart and run them through, remember I'm doing 4 is the magic number for this quilt top, and I'm just doing 4 pieces. I'm doing it so that the 4 is a continuous number, simply because that way you get a little muscle memory and you'll know if something's off if the number of pieces aren't right. I hope that made sense. I just find it easier to do if I have a repetitive number, and then I don't have to constantly think about it. That's hard. Plus, I find in one setting 16 blocks for a log cabin are, that's a good number to do in a setting. That's approximately 3 hours of sewing for this particular quilt. don't know how much bobbin thread I had. I'm sure it will. I'll have to change the bobbin a couple of times tonight. I've already got them wound. Okay, there's that one. Now for this. And while I have a grip on them, I'm just going to separate them. It'll just be easier, I think. There we go. Okay. And tonight I'm also piecing with Aurifil thread. That's what I happen to be piecing with tonight. Which is a 50 weight. Yeah, I think it's a 50 weight. No, I'm wrong. That is, let's see here. Which one is this? This is, yes, that is a 50 weight thread. That particular Aurifil spool of thread is. I'm out of the Madeira Katona 50 weight piecing thread that I really like. I got to get some more of that ordered. Yes, Sandra, the ESG3 is our Elagio. That is the model number for that particular model of Elagio. And it's a comparable machine to your 2003 ULT. Oh, that's wonderful, Sarah. I love the old sinkers. Those black sinkers with all the pretty gold leaf on them. They're fun to sew on. They're really pretty. I think my featherweight is from the early 50s, I think. Okay, next is this one here. Group 7, there's 4 of those. That was easier. I'm just going to go ahead and separate them. Then I don't have to be fiddling around with it each time. There we go. So, right there. Yeah, that made it easier to go ahead and separate those 4. If you were doing like you could do all 64 blocks like this if you wanted to, but I wouldn't be separating 64 pieces if I was doing that. It's nice. Piecing is really a nice, relaxing way to spend some time with your machine. And if I wasn't doing this live, I'd probably have on some music or be watching something on YouTube or Netflix. Watching may not be the appropriate word, but I'd certainly be listening to it and glancing up every so often. Okay, and 4 more. And then we'll have this. These are the pieces number 3 in round 1 for block groups 5, 6, 7, and 8. This is group 8. Excuse me. But this machine here kind of reminds me of one of the old Singers, but a very more modern and updated version of it. It's a heavy-duty machine. Okay, so there's all the pieces from round 3. Let's get those all cut apart. After this next round of logs, we will have round 1 completed. How about that? There we go. Okay. Alrighty. Now, time to sip on some coffee. Okay. And now we'll have 4 of these. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And when I'm piecing log cabin, I like having my strips on the bottom with my block on top, simply because then I can make sure I'm getting my seam lines going in the right direction so that will lay nice and flat. Remember, I like these seam lines to go out towards the outer edges of my blocks. And it just makes it super easy to press it once the quilt top is completely pieced. And when you go to quilt it, it really lays nice and flat. Log cabin is one of the quilt tops I do not piece. I do not piece. I do not press it every step of the way. There's so many pieces and seams in it. It's in my humble opinion, it's very easy to get fabric stretched out of shape if you overpress something. Is anybody watching? Are you piecing one of these with me? Just curious. And let's see here. Next is this one. Group 7 is next. No, group 6 is next. That was group 5. Okay. There we go. Get them separated. They like to stick together sometimes. Come on, you. Open sesame. There we go. Okay. It won't be much longer, and we'll be wondering, when are we going to get our first snow this year? If you look, it really creeps up on you pretty fast each year, because it just wasn't too long ago when I was saying, back when it was so hot here, yeah, I'm ready for fall. And yeah, I like to see the change of the seasons. It's nice. Okay. Okay, now for this one is next. Maybe 4 of these strips. This is boarding group number 7 right here. Round 1. I hear you, Sarah. I'm sorry. I like the snow. I don't like the ice, but I do love the snow. Or at least, if nothing else, we can have some nice, crisp, cool mornings. And I'd be happy with that as well. I am really kind of hoping we have a milder winter this year. Simply because, the energy costs have went up so much since last winter. It's kind of freaky to think what our energy bills will be if we have a rough winter this year. Almost have round 1 complete for all 16 blocks. Get this one on, be the last 4 blocks, and they will be done for round 1. Okay, there we go, and now these are next. Some of these fabrics, sometimes the wrong sides are hard to tell which is the right and wrong side, so it's beneficial for me to do this so I know the right side of the fabric is up. Oh my goodness. Let's see here. Okay. Alrighty. So, these are piece number 4 pieces going around round 1 on blocks 5 through 8 in our pattern. One of the cool things about log cabin, depending how you arrange the tonal variations of your fabric, there are tons of different ways to set it to make different ones. I mean, my goodness, there's straight furrows, barn raising, oh my gosh. I could go on and on. There's even a way to make hearts out of a log cabin block. And there we go. That finishes round 1 for all 16 blocks. Isn't that cool? Okay. There we go. And let's get these all cut apart. So that means those 16 blocks are now 25% completed. Since there are 4 rounds, that's 1 of 4 complete. Yeehaw! It just gives you a little, I like doing it like this because it gives you a little bookmark. Oh, look what I've got. I know what I've got completed without really having to give it a whole lot of thought. And it just makes it seems like it makes it move along better when you can actually put a number to how much you've got completed. Okay. So next there'll be 4 of these. Will go on this one. Oops. I did not start with fabric under the needle, and I'm going to have to oh, no, it did. It caught it, I think. Did it undo the threading? Nope, it caught it. No, I'm wrong. So we'll just get it started back up again. Sometimes. No, it didn't. Okay. Okay. There we go. You just get this puppy rethreaded. It's got a nice needle threader on it. It's not difficult to thread. Here we go. There we go. Now it's threaded. Now we can get moving again. Okay. There, it's all set. Now we can keep on keeping on. And that's how we do it. Yeehaw. Oh my goodness. Okay. Has anyone seen any good movies lately? Well, I tell you what, Mia, I will do one here in the near future. You could Google log cabin hearts on Pinterest, and you could see it. I don't know of per se a book that would have it in it that I could recommend. However, I will say this. when you make a heart using log cabin, it's going to be a light and dark. Does Eleanor Burns have one, Sarah? Wonderful. So you piece three different types of log cabin blocks to make the heart shape. You're going to do a solid light, a solid dark, and then your regular half light, half dark block to make your heart shape. I was piecing those, oh my goodness, way back in the 80s. And that's something I do like to do. I did make one heart-shaped log cabin in a miniature. It had 64 blocks, and I think it measured about 24 by 24 inches approximately. But yeah, it had half-inch wide finished logs. That was a gift I made for somebody many years ago. But I will definitely do a log cabin heart quilt, and I will write the pattern so y'all can have that pattern for it. Okay, moving right along here. I don't know, I think I've gotten to the stage on these stacks now. Those first ones on top were really sticky together, but I think it's where I had them clamped. They're peeling off pretty good now, so if I don't have to, I'm not going to handle each one of them twice. That just adds, overall, it'll add time to your project. Those are coming off pretty easy now. I have to check that out, Sarah, if Eleanor has one. I use electric quilt to write my patterns with when I create one. Quilt patterns. Oh, it was Mia. Yes, it was. I did the miniature one I did was all in Jenny Beyer fabrics, so that was a real, those fabrics were hugely popular in the 80s for sure, and they still are. The one thing I do like about making a miniature quilt, it does not take a lot of fabric. A little bit of fabric goes a long way. I'll tell you what, I will do a whole series of miniature quilts because they are really fun to make. Because one thing I've heard a lot of people say is if you have a lot of quilts, where do you store them all? Well, guess what? If it's a miniature, you can have a lot more quilts than if you have nothing, as opposed to having king-size quilts. It doesn't take a lot of space to store your little miniature quilts. And I consider a miniature quilt that's anything that's not over 24 inches square. That would be my upper limit for one. And there's piece number 1 for round 4 on all of our blocks complete right there. And we'll get these cut apart and keep on keeping on. Move these over just a bit here. There we go. The blocks are getting big enough now. I don't want to drag any pieces off here or they might stick to the stack of blocks and mess my count up. Here we go. And get a sip of my coffee. Oh, nice, Sarah. Mia, a miniature quilt can be as small as 8 by 8, or it can be as large. I think I've always heard that a miniature quilt, the maximum size is 24 by 24 inches. Yes, Mia, those hearts are beautiful with log cabin. And it's the same amount of piecing as what we're doing right now. It's just the way you set the fabrics together in each block and the way you arrange them that makes the heart. What I'm doing right now, the piecing part would be the same. It's just how you order the pieces going around that chimney that'll make that, that will end up making, blah, 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 end up making the final heart shape. Here we go. I knew I'd get it out in a minute or so. Okay. To the race. Yeehaw. Yeah, Pinterest is a great place to get inspiration for a quilt, because you can literally put in so many different keywords and get so many cool things to look at. Just keeping on with it. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. It might be 4 there. We'll see. Oh, wrong stack. See, here's how I know I picked up the wrong piece. These two, this and this does not match. So that's why your pieces will be your guide bar as well. because with this log cabin block, there's not a light and a dark side, so it's not as nearly confusing to piece as the other would be. Here we go. Make sure those seam lines are going in the proper direction, because that makes the work later on so much easier. Oh, thank you, Mia. The only time it's really confusing for me to do this is if I'm really tired. Yeah, that's if I start making a lot of boo-boos, I know then it's time to stop sewing. When I have to rip out a seam more than once, I know I have reached my limit for sewing for that day. And now it's time for these. It is that time of the year for hay fever and allergies and all that stuff. Well, another thing that's helped me with my chat windows, we moved a big screen TV here into the studio for me to use as a computer monitor, and it's much easier for me to watch the chat window than what it used to be. Excuse me. Good grief it. And 4 more, and we will have half of round 2 complete on all 16 blocks. Tonight we are piecing blocks 5 through 8, those groups, 4 blocks of each group, for our Lacey Log Cabin Quilt in Fassett's quilt book, Quilts in Italy. And so that pattern is on page 62. You know, I have a bunch of clothing I don't wear anymore that I have in totes, and I'm getting ready to go through them and cut them up into quilt pieces. I've gotten them out more than one time to do it, but yeah, I'm about ready to cut up some clothing into quilt pieces. here we go. The last piece for piece number 4 on round 2 is right here. Okay. And we'll get these little puppies cut. Two, 3, 4. And then 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Right? Right there. Okay. And a sip of coffee. That's my reward for getting 1 round on. Next is round 3. Nope. Pieces number 3 for round number 2. Oh, hi Tracy. Oh, have a wonderful dinner party. Awesome. So let's see here. Now we have, this is the 3rd piece for round 2 right here. And here we go. Right now, Mia, I am out of those gypsy cutters. I had 2 people come in and buy the last 2 that I had, but I'll get some more in here very shortly. Where are we at? This is next. This pretty shamrock green is next. Absolutely, Mia. I will do that for sure. Yes. But the little cutters are super handy to have, especially if you're going to do chain piecing. You will really get, I put a sore on my fingers from snipping them with scissors. And they are a lifesaver for that, for sure. And we're just keeping on here. Stitching, stitching. And that's the last group for the piecing, the number 3 quilt pieces for round 2. Close to having half of the pieces stitched for these 16 blocks here. Getting close. Okay. Oh, you're welcome, Mia. You know, I like gadgets that make life easy. And I'm always looking for them. You never know what's going to be new out on the market that can make our projects go even nice and smoother than what we originally thought they would. And that Gypsy Cutter is one of those, for sure. Okay. Pieces number 3 for round number 2, all sewn on. Let's get these cut. Oh, Sarah, I just read your comment. Yes, I remember the first log cabin quilt that I pieced. I made each complete block and didn't chain piece it, and I agree. It seemed like it took forever to get it complete. Here you just break it down into a series of steps so you get that feeling of accomplishment each time you complete one round of pieces on there. Okay. Give me a sip of my coffee. And once I get this group of strips on, rounds 1 and 2 out of 4 total will be complete. Oh yes, and inside of the base of this, there's a little screwdriver, and you can change the blade in there that comes with some extra blades. It just takes like a double-edged razor blade, I think is what it is in there. So you can always, when you need to, you can always put in a nice new blade in it. And if you're wondering, there's where I have my stitch length set here. It's just about 1.8, just a little bit on the left side of the number 2. These would mean millimeters on a regular machine. That's a 2 millimeter stitch. And by having it a shorter stitch length, that just means I don't have to tack off each end of my seam. Which if I was, that's what this lever here, this is the reverse lever. Makes it nice to do. Back it up if you do have to do it. Seems like the longer logs separate easier than the shorter ones did. It's always good when it works out like that. It's a good thing. Okay, then, let's see, we just did that. Next is this one here. Once I get these on and these purples right here, round 2 will be complete and these blocks will be 50% completed. How about that? I think my bobbin is getting low because the sound of the machine just changed a little bit. We'll see. Whatever machine you have, once you've sewn on it enough, you can tell, you can get an audio cue if a bobbin's getting low or if there's something just not right. And then you'll know to stop and have a look and see what might be going on. Yes. Okay. Now the purple pieces are next. Here we go. This piece will make these 16 blocks halfway pieced. Because really it doesn't take that much longer when the strips get long to sew it down. It's doing the beginning and the end of each log that takes the most time to set up. The little extra piece like this you're going to sew as you go from log size to log size is really inconsequential when it comes to how much time it actually takes to piece the block. Okay, let's get these cut apart. I also plan on doing a series here in the future all about paper piecing. There's a certain, I don't know, when you paper piece, there's such precision to your piecing, and it really turns out nicely because, and I'll just have to show you what I mean by all that. But that is a future series I am planning for here on YouTube, is a paper piecing series. Okay, here is round 3. Round 3. There's that block. There we go. Round 3. The beginning of round 3. Pieces number 1 in round 3 for blocks 5, 6, 7, and 8. Each one of those times 4. Oops, I did it again, everybody. Maybe I got it that time. I did it. Yay. Yeah, I forgot to get fabric under the needle when I started off on that one, but it didn't. It did just fine. It's right when you first start is when you run that chance of unthreading your needle if there's no fabric under there. Okay, I think that's right. And this will be next, these 4 pieces. Excuse me. Yes, Sarah, paper piecing, you get super sharp points. Everything matches up perfectly with paper piecing. And for those of you that don't know what that is, and it's okay if you don't, that's where you have a piece of foundation paper with the finished quilt block pattern printed on it, and you're matching the fabric to the printed lines and sewing on printed lines. It's very exact. And what I'm doing, I am only guiding the fabric. I am not pulling back on it or anything. I'm letting the machine feed that fabric in all on its own. My hand here is just to guide the fabric. Oh, wonderful, Sarah. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Gonna get our pieces all sewn together. Okay. We're just zipping right along. Zipping right along. And there's that 1,500 stitches per minute this machine will do. Okay, next is the, what I just saw, the green, the pink. The pink, the pink, the pink. Hold on here. Hold on here. Those are upside down. Those are upside down. There we go. Okay. Now that's correct. Okay. Wait a minute. Something just doesn't quite look... Well, I had those all misaligned in my stack. There we go. There we go. Okay. There's the next four. Oh, nice. I'll have to look at that, Carol. Sarah. Isn't YouTube a wonderful thing? You can literally find out how to do almost anything on YouTube if you put in the right search words. Everything from car repair to cooking. Oh my gosh, you name it, it's on YouTube. Okay, this completes piece number 1 for round 3 of our blocks. And we'll get them cut apart. much taller that stack of blocks is getting, everybody. You know you're getting some pieces added to it when it does that. Here we go. Okay. You sip of my coffee here. Oh, wonderful, Sarah. Excuse me. Alrighty, so next, we know just once you get the first one on a round on, it's kind of hard to mix match them then because you're always going to put the same fabric. Okay, what's on the block here. Once we get that first one on, we know this will go on all the way around it. So it makes it, the visual cue is right there in front of us. We just have to look for it. Makes it easier. Makes it easier. I like making it easier whenever I can. Okay. Reposition my foot control. There we go. There was a wire back there from going to one of my video cameras that wasn't allowing me to press down on that foot pedal as much as I was wanting to. Okay, come on, pieces. There we go. There we go. Okay. Oh yeah, that sure made a difference. It'll giddy up and go now. It'll downright get with it. And then this one is next. I was wondering why I couldn't get it up into high speed. Well, duh, that explained it. And there's those four complete. Alrighty, these are next. See there? like I said, once you have your pieces organized, your pieces will tell you what comes next if you just look at them. And then you don't have to guess about it. These higher speed machines are really great if you're doing some strip piecing where you're sewing super long strips together. Yeah, it makes it go pretty quick. Think Bargello. Get on that corner lined up there, you. There you go. There you go. Now you can play. Sometimes you just got to talk to it. It's all good. Let's see here. There we go. And then this one here. There we go. Come on. Okay. Keeping on, keeping on. Okay. Let's see, pieces number 2 for pieces number 2 for round 3 are now complete. And we'll get them all cut apart. In case you're wondering what those are looking like so far, there we go. Pretty. Purdy, purdy. And now those are all cut apart. Okay. Right there. Alrighty. So next, we'll start right here. Piece group pieces number 3 for round 3. Okay. Everybody, here we are. That first corner aligned nice and neat. That's for the next one. Data for the next one. Okay. Right? Right. Okay. See, the pieces talk to me. They said that is not time for that particular piece to go onto that block. You think I'm kidding? Ooh, doggies. Here we go. Getting these, working on round 3 of blocks 5 through 8. This is next right here. Yes, that is correct. the blocks, the quilt pieces, will show you the path to get from point A to point B. Oh, Sarah, I'm using the Baby Lock Accomplish right there. The Accomplish. It is a straight stitch only machine. Semi-industrial. It will do 1,500 stitches per minute. Great machine. Love it. This is a piecing machine right here, let me tell you. Excuse me. The extension table comes with it. Yeah, it's a great machine. It's a heavy-duty machine. It's a workhorse. Very powerful motor, and what you can do with it as well, it's great to do all the top stitching for bags, anything with thickness to it, because it has such a powerful motor. It will flat out get with it, let me tell you. And this lever here controls 4 different ways you can set the feed dogs on this machine. So if you've ever sewn with leather, this has what's called a pin feed, which is great for leather or vinyl because the presser foot and the feed dogs won't leave marks on certain leather. Your feed dogs will leave marks on it. And with this machine, it eliminates that issue. And there is piece group pieces number 3 of round 3 are now complete. And get those cut apart. After this next round, everybody, these blocks will be 75% complete. All I will have left is round number 4, the final round of logs going around the blocks. Yeehaw! Okay, there are those. Now, we've got these last 4 strips of each one of these colors on top to attach to our blocks. Right there. Okay, I'm going to get those done. Yep, I must have pulled my thread out. Okay, it's all good. Yeah, let's get it around here first. the needle on this machine is sideways to what the other sewing machines are. Oops, I didn't have that on there. Get on there, matey. Here we go. Here we go. That got it. But the thread goes through that way. It does not go that way. It goes this way, from left to right. Interesting little tidbit of information. Come on. There we go. It didn't want to come undone. Yes, Sarah, that's a workhorse machine as well. Oh, my no it didn't. I started to say my bobbin finally ran out. I've been waiting for it to happen, everybody. It hasn't run out yet. This machine uses a very specific bobbin made for this machine. It does not use class 15 or anything else like that. I'll show you. Here's what they look like. Right here. It's a metal bobbin. And without looking up the specs, I can't even tell you what the number of it is. I know when I ordered this machine, I just bought extra bobbins for it at the time. It also uses a non-standard machine. It uses more of an industrial needle, and HLX5 needle. So I purchased extras of those as well. Come on, you right there. Keep it on, keep it on. Getting close, everybody, just to have one more round to go. Getting close. Woohoo! We are putting on the last logs for round 3. The block groups 5 through 8, a total of 16 blocks for those 4 groups. For our Lacey log cabin quilt top that we are currently working on. Now our last 4 strips for round 3. Woohoo! Okie dokie. And guess what, everybody, when I get this group, these last few strips right here, 3 more, these blocks are 75% completed. How about that? And here we go. Right here. Alrighty, so there we go. That wrapped up round 3 of blocks 5 through 8. Yeehaw. Let's get these cut apart. Let's see here. Keep it on, keep it on. There we go. Okay. Excuse me. So everybody, my back is telling me it's time to take a break. So with that being said, let me move my camera over here. Right there. So what that's actually going to mean for tonight, this is where I'm going to call it a night. I need to go take some ibuprofen. But Thursday night, we will finish these 16 blocks, and we'll get as much done on the next 16 as we can. Next Thursday, we will be working on blocks. Let's see here. We'll be doing blocks on Thursday night. We'll finish up these, and then we'll be working on blocks 9, 10, 11, and 12. So there's a total of 16, and then we'll start on the rest of them on Saturday, and it will be a longer day on Saturday. So, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. I will see you all Thursday night at the same time here on the channel, which is 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we'll have some more piecing fun on Thursday night. Thank you so much, everybody, and have a wonderful rest of the week. Have a wonderful Wednesday day. We used to call that Hump Day back in the day when I worked in the factories, but yeah, so have a wonderful Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday evening. I will see you next Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, which is Chicago, St. Louis, Nashville, Memphis, and New Orleans time. I will see you all then, everybody. Have a wonderful evening. Bye. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in.